What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode from the 10-7 MMA show. And this is the day before UFC 298. We are so excited. I can't wait for this card. And unfortunately, we can't do a live show today like we normally do. So what we did is we put in our picks. Justin sent them to me. I'm making this video, and we're going to kind of push them together. And hopefully this will be fun for you guys. So we're going to go through the main card, the last four fights on the main card, starting off with Merab versus Cejudo, which is a really, really fun matchup. So I don't know if you guys got to watch the press conference yesterday, but it was pretty cool. Merab brought out the flag of Mexico, which was funny. Henry didn't say too much. I mean, just looking at the tail of the tape, right? We got the age difference that we talked about earlier in the week. I don't know if those heights are exactly accurate. I don't think Merab's only 5'5", but anyways, unless that means 5.5, 5.5 feet. But yeah, you see that age difference. The other thing is Merab is just on a tear. His cardio is out of control, which allows him to have numerous takedowns. He really put a pace in his last fight on Petr Yan. And yeah, I'm feeling confident that Merab is going to get it done, which is kind of sad because I'm a big fan of Henry Cejudo. And it sounds like he's definitely going to be retiring after this fight. So anyways, now I'm going to turn over to Justin.
Hey, everybody. This is Justin James with the 10-7 podcast. I'm here to give you my 4 picks for this weekend. First, I want to talk about Merab versus Cejudo. I really firmly believe that Merab is going to have too high of a pace for Cejudo. I think he's the younger, faster, and he's a younger, faster fighter. And I really think he's on a hot streak right now with 49 takedown attempts against Petr Yan. I really think Merab's going to take it to Cejudo.
The next fight is a pretty big one. It's a pretty big one. It's Garry against Geoff, Neal, and you can see Garry is undefeated coming into this fight. We got again pretty big age discrepancy, but you know Geoff Neal is still pretty young. 33 is for a lot of fighters that is right around it to be in their prime. Geoff Neal's got really tough striking. Garry's striking is on another level. I gotta say, when I'm looking at the breakdown, and by the way, you know, I'm a fan, not an expert like Justin is, but to me, just watching everything Garry's doing, he's young, but he's hungry and he's really devoted. And people are talking a lot of smack about him, but he's doing incredible things, in my opinion. He's an elite striker, yet he's choosing to go to Brazil and train at Shooter Box and get. He wants to get his grappling game, his ground game up just as high level as his striking game and be a dominant champion. I mean, how can you not respect somebody like that? And I think he's doing a really good job of turning people around as well. I almost think that, in a way, I think MMA Guru talked about this. It's almost like he became such a big star, even though it came from a lot of negative attention. If he wanted to really catapult himself, he could keep going down this sort of like heel avenue and keep drumming up that negative energy. But it seems as though, I mean, you know, I'm just hypothesizing, but it seems as though even while that could get more attention and maybe make him more money, sounds like he's tired of it, and I don't blame him. You know, all that negative attention, I imagine it's draining. He's being himself. He's kind of holding back to some degree, though, it feels like. And I think he's winning people back over. He got a lot of boos at the press conference, so I think he's winning people back over. But anyways, it seems like he's focused for this fight. So when we talk about what's gonna go down on Saturday, I do feel like Garry is gonna get it done. And Geoff Neal, I mean, it's going to be a great fight either way. Geoff Neal obviously has a really good shot at pulling this off as well, but I'm going with Garry on this one.
Moving on to Geoff Neal versus Garry. Garry is red hot right now with a little extra motivation via Sean Strickland. I really think Garry is going to go in there and put a clinic on Geoff Neal. Now, from a betting standpoint, don't count Geoff Neal out. We're talking about a long-time UFC vet. You know, if you were going to put somewhere in the bottom of a parlay, obviously Geoff Neal is the underdog. There's going to be a lot of money to be made there if Geoff can somehow pull it off.
This is going to be a great fight. Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. I think this is going to be a really great fight. It's funny, I didn't even know that was Paulo's record until I just pulled it up right now. Obviously, I do like Paulo Costa a lot, and I think he's really funny, and I think he's a really interesting fighter. So I am looking forward to this fight. I do think it's going to be quite a banger. A lot of folks are saying they're giving it to Robert Whittaker straight away. That's not even going to be competitive. I don't know about that. I think that seems to be a bit of an exaggeration. I mean, and look at their stats. I mean, Age-wise, they're pretty evenly matched. Paulo Costa is a dangerous striker. I will give the edge to Robert Whittaker. He's a former champ. He's seasoned. He's amazing. And I would like to see him win. And people were talking about who has more on the line. And I think most people feel like it's Robert Whittaker just because he's trying to get that title shot back. And Paulo Costa, I think to a lot of folks, it seems like he's not really in title contention or doesn't really care so much. I think that's a matter of perspective. Where does Paulo see himself? When you ask who has more to lose, maybe that's not how Paulo views it. Paulo views it probably, hey, he gets a win over Robert Whittaker, he can come right back into title contention, maybe next or maybe one fight away. So I think they both have quite a bit on the line. They're both around the same age, but it's going to be a banger. I'm going to lean slightly towards Robert Whittaker, but can't wait. I think this fight's going to be incredible no matter what.
Moving on to Whittaker and Costa. Whittaker is a bad man. We're talking about the former champ. We're talking about a guy that can strike, a guy that can wrestle, a guy that I think really edges out right here in the mental toughness. Robert Whittaker, I think, is going to take Costa into deep rounds. He's going to gas him out and look for the finish in the later rounds.
Now we get to the main event, a really fun main event. I think this fight's going to be out of control. I think the build-up's been phenomenal. I think at the presser, a lot of people turned on Ilia because he's just so overwhelmingly confident. Maybe it turned some people off, but the really cool thing about his confidence is I do feel it's sincere. I think everybody feels that it's sincere. So whatever you want to say, I think he's being his true, authentic self, and he's just saying it how it is. Some people don't like that. I think it's because Alexander Volkanovski is so beloved. He's nearly undefeated himself. He's had 2 losses to Islam and a previous loss a long time ago. But Volk is beloved by the fan base, and they want to see him keep doing his thing. I think, the majority of people want to see that. And I do love Volkanovski. I do feel like, man, you watch Ilia on the pads, you watch him in his previous fights, he's a dangerous fighter. Alexander Volkanovski, I think one of his greatest strengths is he can pull out of very, very tough positions because he's got enormous mental fortitude. Plus an amazing skill set. He's super well-rounded. I don't know. There's something, I do believe Ilia's confidence. I do think he's an amazing fighter. I think he's going to pull it off. I think that mental game is not even that he's playing a mental game, but I think the fact that he's so mentally confident and convinced that of course he's going to win. It's a given. Adding on to with his skill set, you got that age differential. 35 is not necessarily, I don't know. People say different things, and I think it depends on the type of battles you've been in. I don't feel like 35 is that old. I'm 43 myself, so I don't want to think it's that old. But, talk to Justin. He'll always say, like, even his age, he feels old at 34. So I don't know, but I think it's going to be a tremendous battle. I'm going to give a slight edge. If I had to bet or if I had to pick, I think I'd lean towards Ilia. And again, that's that psychological element of the game that is so fascinating to me. I do think that confidence is sincere and real. And I mean, I feel it even when I'm sparring. I'm not a professional fighter, but yeah, when your confidence is high, it just changes the way you spar, and I imagine changes the way you fight in a real fight. And I think Justin has talked to me about that many times. So I'm going to go Ilia. Can't wait for this one. This entire card is amazing.
Now, moving on to our main event, we're talking Volkanovski, the second pound-for-pound best fighter in the UFC right now, versus Ilia Topuria, a hot up-and-coming star. This guy has dynamite in his hands. He's fast, he's crisp, he's clean. This one's a tough one for me. This is a toss-up fight. My heart says Volk. He's a little bit older. He's been there. He's done that. He's the champ. But like I said, Topuria is fast, he's hungry, and he's determined to beat Volk. My pocketbook says Topuria, but my heart says Volk. You guys tell me what you think.
That's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining, and we will see you in the next episode. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to like this video, and please click subscribe if you want to see more from the 10-7 MMA show. Take it easy.